Hello everyone, and I'm back with another problem. Right in front of me I have my McCulloch weed eater, and it's really given me a lot of starting problems and running problems, and I really can't get started at this time of the year, and I need to because I've got a lot of work, as you can see behind me. So I'm going to start it up and briefly tell you exactly how it runs. But before I do, I want to draw your attention to something which I've noticed for the first time ever on the side of the machine. The number one picture says put the choke right up. Number two says press the primer bulb 10 times. I've never done that in the past. It's normally 3 or 4 times. Picture number 3 is hold the trigger in and pull the starter rope 6 times. Then put the lever on half choke, and then hold the trigger in and pull it 4 times, and once it's running, put it all the way down. That just seems like a lot of primer bulb pushing and a lot of pulling. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is starting it up on as instructed on the side of the machine, and I'm going to let it run on full choke, which it does. As soon as I turn it on to half choke, it normally cuts out straight away unless I pull the trigger and keep the revs high. So follow me and let's see what happens. Okay, put it onto full choke 10 times with the primer bulb. Hold the trigger in. So you can see what the problem is, and it's actually very frustrating at this time of the year. Got so much work to do. So I'm going to do the normal thing. First of all, I'm going to change the fuel. I'm going to check the fuel filter, and I'm going to take the carburetor out again for the 3rd time and give it a proper clean this time. Not even going to change that because that's really clean. Just going to empty the fuel now. The spark plug has a nice color, and in case you are wondering, I do have a spark. I'm glad you heard that. So it looks like I'm going to be taking off the carburetor for the 3rd time. So before I start taking things apart, I just want to show you this, which is something I've never seen before, this particular carburetor. Okay, so we're on choke position there, and there is a hole there, as you can see, and there's a hole there which goes directly into the carburetor. You can see a little pinhole there while it's on choke. On half choke, there is a hole there and a hole there for air to go in, and when it's all the way to the bottom, both holes are open. Now we know that that goes directly into the carburetor, and as we've just seen, the bottom hole goes directly through the carburetor, but the top hole seems to come out, and there's a little rubber tube on the top there, and it goes into the manifold. Okay, so on top of the air filter cover there is a little cover. There's 2 screws in it, and it seems like it is spring loaded as well. And if I put a screwdriver into the hole on the other side, I can actually lift that up. So here's another strange thing which I've discovered, that if I put this little part back in again, if you have a look at the bottom, it actually goes all the way through. So I'm just going to take a wild guess as to how this little valve works. I think that when the engine is at high revs, it will actually draw a lot of air through that pipe. And when it does, it will cause a vacuum at the top, and it will cause this little valve to lift up like that, so air will come in from the bottom. And when you don't, when it doesn't need any more air, because there is a spring on the top, it will actually push it down. So now we know what the theory is behind that little valve. We can see that it can move up and down, and it does need a vacuum to work properly. And perhaps there is false air being drawn in over here somewhere. So now I'm just going to take out this little rubber tube. Not in very good condition, a lot of cracks in it. And you can see that if I put this little rubber tube on there, it's actually pretty loose. So I ended up going to a gardening shop and I bought this tubing, clear plastic tubing. Its interior diameter is 10 millimeter, which is just what I want. So now I've cut a little piece off and I'm going to fit it on the machine and see if it helps. So now I'm just going to fit it on. I really hope this is going to help, because I'm so tired of pushing my primer bulb 10 times. It's ridiculous. Alright, so I've got it on both sides. I'm now going to put everything back together and we're just going to give it a try outside in the garden. I'll push the primer bulb 10 times like it says on the side. The choker's on. That's a good start.